Hello YouTubers, my name is X Factor and welcome to some Battlefield 4 Naval Strike Domination where I'm gonna dominate with the G36. Oh, here we go again, X Factor. You're not pulling our chain, it's not April Fools. That's right, Level Cap, myself, Jack Frags, Matimio got together. We all released videos at the same time talking about how the G36 was the new OP weapon in the game, shooting identical to the M16A3 in Battlefield 3. It most certainly did not. It was amazing to see some of the comments in all of our videos and Twitter as people agreed or disagreed. And of course, the other people that tagged along in their input. So thank you, community, for playing along. That was a lot of fun that 3 or 4 days. I'm going to be talking about that, which is a G36C. It was buffed by having the horizontal recoil reduced, but it still has a very sluggish rate of fire, which can get you in trouble a lot, especially on maps like this where there's a ton of open area and close quarter fights where you're going up against things that have higher rates of fire and might basically shred you if you get too close, too fast, not using cover as your friend. But if you've got a lot of patience with the G36C, it can be extremely effective. But I'm also going to talk about something I've kind of had to keep secret for quite a while now. Anytime something about hardlines popped up, I've had to be very careful what I do and don't talk about, and still had to be careful. When June 9th rolls around, I can talk about anything and everything Battlefield Hardline because I've involved in a couple events that EA and Visceral have put on, where they brought out several competitive players, both current and past, and other of your favorite YouTubers to, number one, see what the game's all about, number two, play the actual game, and more importantly, give them feedback. And then once we gave them a bunch of feedback, we came back again, and they made a ton of changes and gave us their vision going forward, only to make more changes after a massive Q&A session. Again, I have to be very careful what I do and I don't say, but come June 9th, I'm allowed to release all the footage on my channel. That'll be 4 p.m. Eastern Time, 1 p.m. Pacific Time. That's 9 p.m. if you're at 0 GMT over in the good old UK. And if you're behind that, you might be able to figure it out tacking on an hour or so. I played a ton of the multiplayer, got footage with all the weapons available and several of the gadgets, and had a blast. When I first came into the Hardline program, when they were telling us what this game was about in a very little blurb when we started responding via email, I was shaking my head. Wait a minute. Cops and robbers, good guys and bad guys, a Battlefield game? What are you talking about? This is going to be absolutely ridiculous and a waste of my time. But I decided to embark, and I'm glad I did. Once we sat down, we started talking about the single player and the vision that the game had. And I still was kind of not sold because we were looking at cutscenes and limited visual information. And, of course, talking with some of the devs. And, of course, they're extremely passionate about this. And I quickly found out why they were so passionate. They let us play the multiplayer in the first trip for 5 or 6 hours. And when they said, hey, you guys got enough? Are you guys done? We basically all said, no, please, let us keep playing more. It was fast-paced. It was crazy. It was intense. There's tons of oh shit moments. It can be very infantry-centric with a splash of vehicles, and the new game modes are absolutely nuts. I had an absolute blast. That was the first trip. When we came back for the second trip, they'd refined the game even more, made a ton of changes based on our specific feedback from our first massive Q&A session. And they talked about the vision going forward, some of the changes they want to make that they simply didn't have time for this build that we're currently playing. And they took 5 or 6 pages of more input, more ideas, and more changes. But the multiplayer is what did it for me. I was that guy who was shaking my head the entire time saying, what the heck is this? Even when I was out there, we were watching some of these cutscenes. But again, it was a lot of fun. It's actually highly addictive. And I really have to be careful about what I say and I don't say. So please don't ask me a million things in the comments, knowing that I can't say a thing about game specifics, weapons, actual mechanics in the game, gadgets until that June 9th date. But what I will say is make sure you watch a lot of these videos if you don't know whether you want to buy or not buy this game. And just remember, it is Frostbite 3.0. It is directly tied into Battlefield 4 and CTE. So everything that's going on in CTE, all the massive changes that are going on for Battlefield 4 will directly affect Battlefield Hardline, which is a good thing. Because I think we can all agree that Battlefield 4 is finally moving in the right direction, especially since we've gotten the tick rate patch, the less screen shake patch, with a bunch more coming up for the next build. So take a look at a lot of the footage that's going to be dropping June 9th and make your decision for yourself. Don't let somebody tell you you have to or you don't have to buy this game. I'm pretty sure the multiplayer shows it all. Crazy moments, intense firefights, and of course you can see all the different weapons and gadgets and how the gameplay goes on a couple of the different game modes. But for the most part, I was really surprised, is basically what I'm saying. I came in with preconceived notions, and I left having an itch, an insatiable itch, just wanting to play more. Because I'll say this, I like Battlefield 3, and I like Bad Company 2, and I dearly miss playing Bad Company 2. I'll leave you with that little piece. So we're trying to make a push with this G36, strafing just a little bit, which doesn't help the spread of this weapon. It causes more spread, but as you could hear, the pew-pew was rushing in. This is a close match up to this point, so it's always about fighting on the flag, defending the flag, and getting the next flag as quick as possible. If you're not fighting on the flag or fighting towards a flag, you're doing the other team a big favor. For as long as they hold 2 flags and you don't, you're in a lot of trouble. Whether that was a mortar or a nade, I most definitely had to seek cover, and that is a nice head glitch kill on a man that goes by the name of Smelly Cat. My only question is it because he bathes in his own urine or simply doesn't bathe at all? You never know how those cats be acting. So we're trying to push this out to a 3-cap hold, but it's domination. On this Naval Strike map, these wide open areas that are just nade catches by the flags, it can simply turn around extremely quickly. So I'm trying to seek some cover, and these are the ranges where I can lose out on some of those gunfights with somebody that is equally on point, but simply has a higher rate of fire. Headshot's really not going to bail you out when they're spewing 900 plus rounds a minute in a split second. So simply trying to hold my ground, keep them off the flag, because this area is such a small burn. It's all within the confines of those concrete outlies that you see basically right there. As always, YouTubers, thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging out. The G36 is actually a pretty darn good weapon as long as the majority of the targets are beyond 30 or so meters, where that increased accuracy, reduced horizontal recoil can really help you out. It's slow, but it's steady. If you guys have any questions or comments, don't forget to leave those down below. And remember, I really can't say much else about Hardline until June 9th on my channel. We'll see you soon, YouTubers.